Okay, and now some of you have probably been wondering about it, supervolcanoes. Um, Usually, we don't talk too much about supervolcanoes because they are very rare, they're different. But here is a cool figure that shows volume of material erupted. So how much magma is offloaded, right? It comes to the surface, whether that's as like rock material or lava or whatever it is, or tephra material. So this is in cubic kilometers. So that's a kilometer by a kilometer by a kilometer. So if you're more comfortable with miles, it's about 0.6 miles long, 0.6 miles wide, 0.6 miles high, right? It's volume. So the Mount St. Helens eruption that we talked about is on here in that dark green. It was 0.25 cubic meters of material ejected. And then as we get up to those dark oranges and even the light oranges, we hit supervolcanoes. There's such thing called the volcano explosivity index, and it's a logarithmic scale like our earthquakes were. You know, every number up is 10 times more material ejected. So the supervolcanoes, I'm sorry, are the highest you can get on the volcano explosivity index. So here are some supervolcanoes. You've probably heard of the Yellowstone supervolcano. That's one we'll talk about. So that's there. The last major eruption was roughly 640,000 years ago. So these supervolcanoes are, let me go back, just they're only erupting on average. A major eruption is only happening in the world once every 100,000 years on average. So they're really not common at all. And usually where you're going to find them is in a caldera, which we didn't talk much about calderas, but sometimes a volcanic eruption completely empties a magma chamber, so the ground collapses in because the magma is not there anymore. Sometimes a volcanic eruption will partially empty a magma chamber and it'll still collapse, and so you have this like depression in the ground where a volcanic eruption once happened. So that's what we have. Yellowstone National Park is over a caldera from a supervolcanic eruption. There is still magma in that chamber, which is why at Yellowstone you have those geothermal features. Geo meaning earth, thermal meaning heat, like geysers and hot springs. There's some amazing features at Yellowstone, and if you just Google, you know, virtual tour of Yellowstone, you can do that, and you might have been there, which is cool. I haven't been there yet. So this is where you would say the supervolcano is located. It's kind of a magma chamber that's still under this caldera from the last eruption. Where do you find them? Continental hotspots. So we talked about finding shield volcanoes at ocean hotspots like Hawaii, but this is, Yellowstone, for instance, is over a rising mantle plume, but the continental crust is a different composition, so it makes a different kind of magma. And then some subduction zones too can have supervolcanoes at the middle. This is an aerial shot of part of Yellowstone. Eruption style, very explosive, very explosive. Products, same as the stratovolcano, which was our other really explosive volcano, but more so, everything more so, more so, more so. So to give you an idea, the last major eruption of the Yellowstone supervolcano, again, roughly 640,000 years ago, and that ejected 2,500 times as much material as Mount St. Helens. And the biggest eruption of the Yellowstone supervolcano was about 2 million years ago, and it erupted with 6,000 times the material as the Mount St. Helens eruption. So really, really big. The biggest concern worldwide for a supervolcano, obviously, if you're right there, you're in harm's way. But worldwide, it would be the ash production, because the ash production will block out the sun and cause climate change, like a natural climate change, where it would get much cooler. That can affect crops, food production worldwide. The ash could stop air travel. So worldwide, that's a major concern. In terms of Yellowstone, most of the last, it hasn't had a major eruption in 630,000 years, but most of the last minor eruptions have been just lava flow. There hasn't had big ash production, and most likely there would be an eruption of the hot groundwater, and you'd get like a hydrothermal. I said geothermal before when I meant hydrothermal. Hydro, water, thermal, hot. You would have a hydrothermal eruption that was more of hot water in the ground erupting. So don't worry too much about this super volcano. Again, on average, we get a volcano explosivity index 8, the highest you can get on average every 100,000 years. So please don't lose sleep over it. All right, I have some videos for you on the supervolcano.